It's an enterprise platform to enable large-scale mapping with drones, and we do analytics on top of it. To give you some context, maps have existed forever, but Bangalore still does not have a 360-degree street view. If you go further up, this is what maps look like. You have just latitudes and longitudes of villages with no idea whether it's in the center, whether it's in the periphery of the village. And for that reason, you end up not making robust plans. What you see at the bottom is a drone-based map that is created out of commodity drones. So this is at the back is 3 to 5 centimeter per pixel resolution on drone-based map, which is about 10x to what you would actually get from the best satellite maps available. You're looking at maps from entirely commodity drones off the shelf, $1,500. These are flexible to be mobilized within an hour. And to talk about how this kind of data can actually impact decision making. This is an example of a city we worked in, Baroda, which has a river that is snaking through it, and it is infested with crocodiles. So when the flooding happens in the rainy season, the water moves out, and with the water, actually, the crocodiles move out as well. Traditionally, if you were to use satellites to do this thing, satellites only actually work with natural contours and do not work with urban temporary settlements which have grown up. So it's not very accurate. What we did here was actually centimeter level accuracy of how the water is going to flow out, which houses would be affected, and which areas would actually be infested by crocodiles first. In terms of the product, you're looking at 3 basic components. The first part is just for the accuracy of data collection and to create absolute accurate surveys. This is for ground control points and flight planning of the entire area based on the elevations and different factors that need to be considered. The second part, which is the kind of the core of it, is turning images to maps. So you churn through larger data sets, map in a particular pattern, reconstruct this into a large sheet. At the end of all this, though, you're still looking at a very large image. In order to be able to make sense of it, we started working with drone-based analytics, which is deep learning-based toolkits that work on extracting plots, boundaries, roads, plant count, and plant health. Essentially, what we're talking about is if you're looking at a 400 square kilometer gigantic map, you are talking about extracting how many houses are there, how many roads have been built, what is the changes across one mapping to another. We have churned through 40 terabytes of data across our entire mappings. We work with Reliance. We had the fortune of working with Mr. Nilesh Modi from the chairman's office, and we've worked on both kind of analytics. The first one is urban, which is change tracking for construction on the Geo Institute land in Karjat. And the second one is precision agriculture, which is a season-long mapping across multiple points for tracking stress on plant count and plant health. In terms of functionalities, you're looking at a web application that is capable of allowing viewing, sharing, measurement on top of your browser. This is fairly hard to do for very large-scale maps. And in terms of analyzing, it is allowing you to do toolkits that completely eliminates the manual portion of tagging and annotating maps and data sets. We use a very fairly simple pricing model. It's a $1,000 subscription, which has a separate component of variable rate per unit area of mapping. So it's about $5 per acre, and out of this, a 30% rate goes back to our 120 drone service providers who essentially contribute to our scalability. We have seen a growth of till this point, we have about 100K in revenues in dollars, and we're looking at 500,000 next year. And we have mapped 600 square kilometers of data sets, area till this point, and are expecting somewhere around 2,500 square kilometers next year. In terms of revenue breakdown, and actually, I'll just go back a little bit to the area as well. When we're talking about area, we're looking at several smart cities and several smart villages being mapped at the same time. Revenue breakdown, we're looking at a breakdown of about, since it's mapping, government is a stakeholder in one way or another, but 25% of our revenue comes directly from governments, and 75% of it comes from private players. We were the startup of the year for Business World this year, so we had this honor, and the team, it includes my co-founder Utkarsh, who's a specialist in computer science. We're both from Johns Hopkins. I am biomedical engineering background, again Johns Hopkins, and Sajal KR is our geospatial intelligence expert from IIT Bombay. We have a team of very excited 11 engineers, 3 GIS, and 4 full stack AI/ML engineers. To summarize everything that we do, this kind of geospatial data can democratize the access of mapping. Anybody can fly a drone like gather data and actually analyze it for real planning and development. So it can revolutionize sustainable development. You're looking at an enterprise platform that can work across the board for end-to-end planning applications. And yeah, and as I said, like we've churned through 40 terabytes of data sets, including like mapping and marking of 14 geospatial features.